In order to get the results that so many people want is not something you're going to get there casually, by half-assing it, by wanting it, and by having a lot of talent. It's not going to happen. In order for you to extract the maximum amount of money with the maximum speed from your business is going to require extreme productivity. This is why most people don't get there, okay? Because here's the thing I want you to constantly drill into your head. Results only come from what you get done. They don't come from thinking about it, planning it, talking about it, getting ready to do it. I mean, Mike and I'm going to pick on him, not him in general, but just, since you brought it up, you get to, be the focus of my attention at the moment. And that is, we have a co-mits group, co-managed IT. And I created those campaigns back in January because we had it at the January Producers Club meeting. The last meeting that I was on, the last webinar I was on was, what a month are we in? So it had to have been like early September. Is that fair? Now, when I asked how many people got the damn campaigns out the door, how many of you think actually got something out the damn door? 0. At least not what I consider getting a campaign out the door. Making calls, building a list, getting ready, having it proofread, that's bullshit. No money's coming in because nothing's getting done. Getting ready to get done, getting ready to send out the campaign, getting the list ready to go out the door, getting the people ready, hiring. I got the ads going for the telemarketer. I don't have the telemarketer, but I get the ads going. That's not progress. Done is progress. Because until the calls are made, until the appointments are booked, until the deal is closed, you don't make any money. All right? And y'all need a big, swift kick in the ass because you're all real busy getting ready to get done. You're not getting done, all right? And what we have here is really not a time management problem. It is a self-management problem. Okay? How many of you know there's things right now, if you could get them done in your business, it would put more money in your pocket? How many? All right? How many of you actually know what those things are? Okay, that's good. A lot of people don't even know what they are, right? Okay, so I'm going to share with you, and this is rough. I'm going to share with you in advance. This is a rough conversation I'm about to have. This is a very extreme example, but it's one that I learned from a man named Gary Halbert. Anyone familiar with the name Gary Halbert? My marketing manager should be. Okay? Gary Halbert was one of the greatest direct response marketers of our time. He passed away several years ago, but I studied Gary. Now, Gary used to run mastermind groups, and like every coach, business mentor, coach, consultant, we deal with the same thing, trying to get clients to do the stuff that we know will work. And so he used to take his students through an exercise, and the exercise went that, and the exercise was a way of showing you how you will perform when it really matters. When getting things done really matters, right? Okay. Now, in his world, he was doing direct mail, because this is many years ago when there was no email, internet, Google, pay-per-click, social media. It didn't exist. It was all direct mail. And so Gary's exercise was this. Let's suppose you have to make a direct mail campaign work. Fill in the blank, direct mail campaign, business, sales call, whatever, fill in the blank. Let's suppose you have to make a direct mail campaign work. And here's how we're going to play the game. You have a kid? How many of you have kids? I have 2. All right, good. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to kidnap your kid. And we are going to cut off a finger every time you make an attempt to make direct mail work and you fail to make it work. Okay, that's the stakes. Now, you get and if after one failure, you get to try again until the kid runs out of fingers. Okay, now I told you it was going to be extreme. Now let me ask you this. Under that premise, how many of you would be like not cleaning the list? How many of you would send out bulk mail? How many of you would try and say, well, I'm just going to do a postcard? Right? How many of you would perform like that if it really mattered? How many of you would be like, well, I don't care about hand address. I'll just rent some list. I'll sort of look at it. I'll send out 25, and I might not make phone calls. How many of you would do that if the stakes were what I just said? You wouldn't do it twice, okay? Might do it once, not twice. And see, what I just described, as rough as it is about motivation. Because let's say we're playing the same game, and someone like me is the judge, and I follow you around for a day, for a week, and I get to determine whether or not you are in a mode of extreme productivity. And if you're not, the kid loses a finger. Now, if that was the game, would your last work day before you came here look the same as what it did? No. Okay? Exactly right. Were there things that you let happen? Were there things that you skipped over? Was there time wasted on Facebook? Were there things that would you do things differently under that motivation? And the answer should be absolutely, right? So it's not a time management problem. It is a lack of motivation problem. And here's the thing. All motivation is self-motivation. All motivation is self-motivation. I am not going to come to your house, punch you in the gut to get you up at 5 o'clock in the morning, follow your ass around, and make you do stuff. After like 4th, 5th grade, mommy shouldn't have to come wake you up and make you do your homework, right? So it's all self-motivation. And you have to make a decision about, you've put yourself in the position of owning a business. So you've taken all the risk, you've taken all the stress, you've taken all the work. And you have to decide the hours that I am going to put into my business, to invest into my business. Am I going to get the maximum amount of money and productivity out of my time, or am I not? Am I going to allow people to interrupt me? Am I going to allow things to interrupt me? Am I going to allow clients who are not profitable to hang around? Am I going to allow for poor performance out of my team? Like, if the motivation was extreme productivity and extreme maximum amount of money, would you behave differently? And of course, the answer is yes. And so time management, or deciding whether or not you are productive, is not something that you do at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the quarter, at the end of the year, when you get your report from your tax accountant to give you a score as to how productive you were that year. You've got to monitor it minute by minute, project by project, day by day. And if you don't, time's going to slip by, and it's going to slip by really, really quick, because that's all we have. It's the only resource we cannot get back. You can get back more money. You can. I know it's painful and ugly, and we don't want to lose the money and have to gain it back, but you cannot get more time. It's the only resource that once that minute is burned, there's no getting it back. Once that investment is not made, there's no going back in a time capsule and investing. That's it. It's done.